Hey y'all, it's Dolores, the pastor's daughter. I was just sitting here thinking, and I wanted to just come on and talk about this question: Am I holding a grudge for childhood issues? See, when I think about that question, I think about there seems to be like this belief that once you become an adult that you'll just age out of the effects of childhood trauma or your childhood experiences, right? But it just doesn't happen that way. What happens is you become an adult and you just adjust and you adapt, and sometimes you don't adapt in the best ways, and sometimes you'll have these behaviors and things that you do that are just your way of being that you never even realized where they came from, right? So let me give you a little bit of a story, a backstory on this. So my husband and I, we were out of town, and this is like during the first stages of when we started, well, like when we first like started going out of town together. And we were in a hotel, and so my husband, when we go out of town, he completely unpacks, right? He will put, like, he'll unpack, totally unpack his suitcase, put his shoes up, and he'll put his stuff in the drawer. He sets up his toiletries, and like he has the whole thing set up like he's really at home. Like he really makes himself at home when we go out of town. And it's crazy because like I started realizing like just seeing him do that was causing me extreme anxiety. Oh my God, it's so crazy, right? Because I didn't even realize, but I was just like, well, like you know, I've always been pretty blunt, so sometimes I just ask the question, and sometimes it doesn't even come out right. It just sounds crazy, right? But I said to him, I'm like, well, you know, like, why are you unpacking? You know, like, what are you doing? And he's like, you know, I like to get comfortable, and you know, and he really like makes himself at home. He really embraces wherever he is. Like, you know, when we go out of town, he embraces the place like he's comfortable, like he's at home. He wants the full experience. Well, I'm not like that. I stay completely packed, right? In fact, the way I pack is in a way that like I'll pack in the way I'll use things, right? So I'll pack things in a certain way so that it becomes like my suitcase or whatever becomes like my little wardrobe, like it's my little shop, you know, of all my things. And I didn't realize why I did that until my husband he pointed out to me one day. We were talking about um, where I was born, um, and where my brothers were born and stuff like that. What's crazy is I was the only one of my siblings born outside of Detroit. I was born in Logan, West Virginia, because when I was born, we were on the run. And he brought it to my attention that I was actually born on the run, that we were in fear for our lives, or I wasn't born at the time, so my father was in fear of his life and my mother's life, and at the time it was three of my brothers that were already born, and of course my mother was pregnant with me. And the story was that um, there was someone trying to kill my father, and So we, with me being in the stomach, of course, in my mother's womb, um, left Detroit and went to West Virginia, and that's where I was born. What I realized, the connection between the two is like when my husband would totally like unpack his suitcase when we go out of town. In my mind I was just thinking, like, why would you do that? Like, what happens if you just need to, just, all of a sudden grab your things and go? I mean, what, like, how can you just completely, like, just unpack and completely just get comfortable? Like, you don't know if something's gonna happen, and we'll just have to, like, grab our things and leave. And I didn't even realize how how I was even brought into this world, has such an impact on how I even vacation, you know, and how I enjoy that experience with my husband, how I'm present or not present in fully in the moment, or in the vacation, or in the experience of being in a new location. But it's not just how I was born. That was my entire existence. We went from Detroit to West Virginia to down south to California to Germany. We went to Germany twice, and I remember times where we had to leave, like, house, or places that we live, houses like furnished, and we had to leave a lot of our belongings and just up and leave in the middle of the night. And that has even carried on into my marriage now, and how I show up in my relationship. It's like I wasn't completely unpacking. And when you think about it on a, a even deeper level, you think of the how that showed up in my vacationing, but think about how that shows up in other areas of my life where I was constantly on the go, constantly on the run, constantly in fear, and how that shows up now as a 40-year-old woman with an adult child and a teenage son and a husband. And you don't just grow out of it. You don't just grow out of your childhood experiences, your childhood traumas. They show up, and they show up, and they show up. And what happens is they show up in relationships with the people that you love the most. And they cause damage. And see, now, I mean, I know that about myself, but I can't say that the next time I go on vacation that, I'll completely unpack, because that's just not my thing. Now it's my way of being, and I'm okay with that part of it. But now moving forward, right? I know that the anxiety that it was causing, it doesn't have to happen anymore. Now that I have that awareness, now that I know where that stems from, I can be completely present in my vacationing experience with my husband. When he unpacks and he's trying to enjoy his experience, I'm not ruining that with my childhood traumas, because now I'm aware of it. Now I know, wow, that that makes sense. But it shows up in just the simplest things. But those simple things can have a tremendous impact on our relationships. And then to think, if I wasn't able to, like, have this awareness and share this, knowledge with my husband, and he was the one who, really pointed that out in a way that caused me to think, wow, yeah, I was born on the run. And to think how that must have shaped a lot of aspects of my life, including how I vacation. But now when I vacation, I can maybe just unpack a couple things, get a little bit comfortable. But now that I have the awareness, I can be fully present in the experience and fully enjoy the experience. Anyway, I hope this helps. Love y'all. Bye bye for now.